This is the time of the Merlin, and time for you to accept and adapt that title. Not to be ashamed of it, not to hide from it, but you are a Merlin, a modern day Merlin. And the things that you can do with time or energy are going to astound not only you, but other people. And I'm not talking about doing stage tricks or magic shows or anything like that, but simply the ease and grace by which life comes to you and abides by you. That's the magic of Merlin, the ease and the grace. Energy moves, and it always will. The real understanding here in your personal life as a Merlin is how it moves, how it responds, and how it will work for you. But you do affect, and you can make your own energy moves. In other words, what do you choose, and the energy will respond to you. I am that I am. And that is a God-given fact. But the problem I seem to be having is that I'm not sure who I am. That's something I do believe all of you understand. I'm not so sure if it is because I'm 186 years old. And sometimes I fail in memory, I fail in facts, but I never fail in feeling alive, even though I'm dead. I'm not so sure if this lack of understanding who I am is due to the fact that this is some sort of trickery of the soul. And that I'm almost certain it truly is. But for our gathering here, I am Mark Twain. It was quite the life. And I allowed myself to adventure into life. You know, I'd met many people along the way who kept themselves back from the trials and tribulations of life. They held themselves back. They stayed in small towns, in small jobs, and never going off to explore either inside themselves or the world around them. But I was one filled with adventure, wanting to get out and find out what this great world was all about, and hopefully in that pursuit I would find who I was all about. I encourage all of you to do one very important thing for me, Mark Twain. Tell your stories. Tell your stories. Now, you just heard my story of going to heaven. Now, how much of it is literally true doesn't matter so much because it is my story, and I'll stand behind it. I am eternal. I am beyond time as well as in time. I am that I am. I am the Merlin of Shaumbra. Let's gather together our energies. This Merlin that appears before you now is you, was all of Shaumbra. This Merlin is emerging. This Merlin is maturing. This Merlin is a reflection of each and every Shaumbra who comes to this point of accepting the Merlin and the Merlin wisdom within. What is Merlin? Merlin is the understanding that even though there are laws of physics on this planet, that they can easily be moved, shifted, overcome. The Merlin that we're creating here, right now, understands that there are no limitations whatsoever. What is the Merlin? As a template for the new human on the planet, and the very reason that you came here, not to fight the new human species that's going by the way of technology, not to put it down, but to offer an alternative for humans in the future.
A while back, you had talked about we're talking about the COVID-19. You like the word coronavirus, but it's coronavirus 2019.
Yeah,
It's lasted
that's
much longer. A lot more people
Yes.
are dying.
Yes.
There's immense polarization, which we'll get to. But I would say, from your standpoint, what do you see? You said the humans have changed it. You mentioned that on one of the channels. What was that change? What did we do? How did we repurpose this pandemic?
Good. Good question. And as you say, predictions are very difficult. It's like watching a sailboat on the ocean, and you believe it's headed in a certain direction. That's what you see, and by all calculations, it's going in a certain direction. But suddenly, just even the slightest breeze can change the direction of the sailboat, and it can go off a different way. I am FM, AM, FM. Greetings to each and every one of you. My work is with the Crimson Council. The work is about preparing a link, what I call the FM link, which is a communications link between you and the master, the soul. That link right now, it's not that it's inoperative, but it's difficult for you as a human to find. When you go looking for the voice of the master, your true soul voice, as a human, you have a difficult time finding it. My mission was to help develop that link. The FM link is the ability now to understand and to hear and to perceive what's coming from your soul, not mine, not Adamus, not the universe, but your soul. But how do we do that? How do we do that? The simple explanation is we're going to set up a radio station. It will help ultimately break through even the old patterns caused by the headbands, which are no longer there, but the patterns are there. You'll be walking on the planet in full communication with all of yourself. That's what I've been working on these past 4 years. We have a lot to talk about today. But before we do, let's stop for a moment. Let's stop for this sacred moment of time just to make light. To make light. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. Let's feel it. Let's do it right now. Make light. Oh, you're trying too hard. Making light is rather easy and rather natural. It's one of your innate abilities to make light out of anything. Making light is adding a little humor, even in the toughest situations. Making light is also bringing something from a state of, you could say, sad energy, painful energy, or stuck energy into wisdom. Release it from its bondage in its challenging and difficult state. Release it from the bondage that it's in, because so often humans, and especially me, would overthink everything. Overthink. Try to figure it out. And you know what happens? You think too much, you stink too much. I know so many of you have done the pirate call, the arg. But now let's turn that into the lion's roar. The roar of divine courage that has been within each and every one of you from the moment I came in. Something I didn't see right away, but something that truly came to the service. The roar of courage within you. You are going to do this. You committed to this. You let that courage roar in the face of all the doubts, all the getting stuck in the mind, all the ridicule from others. You let it roar and come forth. That roar now replaces Gabriel's trumpet and calling out to the new ones that you're ready to share your stories, your wisdom, and your accomplishments. Who needs Gabriel's trumpet when you have the roar of Shambhala going out all across the world, all across the universe, through time and space itself? Now that you've come to this point in your realization, let's be standards of grace. Standards of grace. In other words, let's put the suffering behind. Standards of grace in terms of accepting and allowing your own energies, your own Merlin, your own divinity. Let's roar out with courage that there's no place for suffering anymore in your life. Let's make suffering something of the ancient past as we go forward, as you sit on the park bench, as you radiate your light. Let's take a deep breath in this sacred moment now and allow yourself to be a standard of grace.